Hello everyone, it's Cindy from Cinders. Sorry, I forgot to put my microphone on. Right, so I am coming on to do a review of the new Nuvo drops. Cool. Sorry, I'm just coiling the cable round, otherwise it keeps swinging around. The new Nuvo drops. That's a mouthful. Right, so what we have here is I've done the two older versions. So you've got the crystal drops and the jewel drops. They don't make this easy for me, do they? And then we have the vintage drops and then the dream drops. Now some of these I've smudged. It's my own silly fault, and it's because I go at 20 miles an hour and don't think about what I'm knocking. I'm clumsy. We know I'm clumsy. Right, so I'm going to run through the properties on each type, and I will give you the good and bad of each one. In my own opinion, this is always of my own opinion. I am not an expert on Nuvo drops. I do not work for Tonic. I use them, and that is the extent of my expertise. But I can tell you how I find them, and I have an added need that I need to be able to use them by squeezing them with hands that are losing power. So, as a lot of people are, I'm not special in any way, shape or form. So here are the first ones that come out. I'm sure these were the ones that come out first, and then the jewel drops followed. That is what I believe. If I am wrong, I know someone will correct me, so that's good. So this one here is buttermilk. Now I smudged this, so this is my fault. Like I say, I'm clumsy, so this isn't dry yet, but I was hoping to get this dry because I wanted to see if I could. No, I'm just gonna, it's tacky, so it's not going to do it. So what I done was I did do nice drops until I squashed them and smudged them. So I done a thick line to see how I could consistently get the line, a thicker line, a thin line. I done a bigger area, which I will need to update you, but I can tell you what I have found. I can't show you what I've done so far because it's only halfway through, and I want to show you it complete because then it has a certain wow factor. So you're going to have to forgive me for not rushing that. But the problem that people say they have with these is if you do them fairly thick or in a bigger area, that they can crack. Now I've never had that, but I don't do big areas, so I would not necessarily have come across that. I know people have said when they've done the larger dots that they also have cracked. Now some people like, especially on the jewel drops, to have that cracking effect because then it looks more vintage. But that's just different people's needs for different cards. So anyway, so this is the crystal drops. This is the one that has been around for quite some time now. You can't write with it properly, but then nor would you expect to. It's not something you would think, hey, I'm going to write a card in jewel drops. You do get a good consistency on drops. Unfortunately, like I say, I smudged them. What I will say is when I squeeze them, I can use these, but often if you were beginning or a novice, let me explain this. If you don't do these in the correct way, you can get a tail which will go and flop over, and then it ruins the whole effect. I think I have one somewhere here, somewhere. So, and like I say, that was me just being clumsy. So for beginners, there are some that are going to be easier to use than others. So these are the first ones out. Now, these were my favourites, which were the Jewel Drops, which are a tint of, excuse me, a clear with a tint of colour, which they're beautiful. You can see that their lines come, you can get a very, very fine line. The drops, you get a good depth on, they're nice and round, and you can go to a very small size. So they're all round brilliant. I have also done a larger patch there. That also isn't dried because I stuck my finger in it and it isn't dried. Nearly, but if I go to crack it, then it's not because it's still malleable where it's drying, it's going to bend and flex okay. I find these easier to get the perfect circle than I can't see this, my screen is in bright sunlight, than the standard crystal drops. I find them easier to squeeze also with power in my hands. So these were my favourites. And then we go to the two new ones. So we have the vintage, which dries to a matte finish. So as you can see, they go into a very nice line. Writing slightly better than t'other, but again, I would need to get the writing. I would need to learn to write with this medium rather than just go straight in. Is that dry? Yes, that is dry. The thing I want, no, it's still not. But the thing I wanted to show you is this one dry. If you flick it underneath, you can get it to spread out. Is that one dry? No. But it bends and flexes. It is. It's got a rubber, not a rubberized, but it's more malleable. It bends a lot easier, so it will not crack. So that one is advertised as having a matte finish. As it dries, it does get more matte. That one at the moment looks glossy. I could call that matte. I would thought that semi matte or semi. I think that there is like a kind of satin look to it, but like I say, it's cracked there. That's only because I've been playing with it stupidly. It's only because I've laid this down today. You usually lay thicker wadges like this they say overnight. There's no way I'm waiting overnight for anything like this. I'm terrible. And as you can see, they form tiny dots. They've got a good profile, if you can see. Nice profile on that. You can get them to go flatter by flicking underneath, which we used to have to do with the older pearl types, not Nuvo obviously. I found these hard to squeeze. They come in a nice square size. Compared to the other one, I think it is the same fluid ounces. Yes, you can see it comes in square. The lids are different. These do actually, if you wanted a create a pretty display. They do stack because obviously they're curved either side. You can see that they're matte inside the bottle. Have trouble pronouncing bottle. Oh, there you go, I said it. But that's probably just the actual casing. I did find it harder to use these, and all I wanted to do as well is just to show you how easy it is to achieve on film. So why I would choose to do this. Right, so you're going to squeeze it. The more you use it, I suppose, the easier it is for you to, and then straight up, to squeeze it with the right consistency. Always bang it out, as my good friend Cheryl told me. It saves them getting dried up in the spout or the nozzle, whatever you call it. I'm just going to lay this down a moment. So yes, always bang them out. And I got shown a very, 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 very clever. I don't know if you have to wait for it to be dry or not, but just pop a bit on top. I'm just going to wipe that off and then knock that down. Now, where is my pin? Oop, am I still in? It doesn't matter because I'm not doing it yet. You can obviously do an eyeball. Sorry, let me just hook my microphone round. You can. Now you've got to remember that I've only just got these, so I haven't been playing with them that long. You can twirl them and marbleize them. Marbleize them. I wonder if I can put, oh no, that one's already that. Is that colour? No. Right, so that one, I obviously didn't want that to be a circle. I'll just put that on there for a moment. I wonder if I can, when it's almost dry, get a better effect. No, that just makes a lovely, gorgeous mess. If you're going for a mess, that's the way to go. But as you can see, you can actually, you're going to do a larger area and then marbleize it. But I think I'm going to have so much fun once I get to know the properties and how long to leave it and how long to put a bigger dollop in. Yeah. The easy way to tell it, so I've been told by my lovely Cheryl, is, I'm going to put it by my microphone, so if I end up with this squirted in my face, I will not be happy. You should hear air coming out. Probably didn't hear anything then, but that's good because you didn't hear it as it come out and smack me in the face. That wouldn't have been pleasant. Right, so they brought out 8 new colours, and we have Dusty Rose, Bohemian. I found that one colour a problem. I don't know what it was about that colour, but as you can see, all the rest around, I struggled with that one. I really struggled. Don't know why. But you get Bohemian Teal, Earl Grey, Pioneer Green. Look how tiny you can get these. Postbox Red, Bonnie Blue. I would have gone with a lilac for that one, but it's a beautiful colour. Chocolate Chip and Saddlebag. So if you go with Chocolate Chip, Saddlebag and Dusty Rose, you've got a very fine line of neutrals, which is wonderful when you're doing what I'm doing, but I'm not using these ones, I'm using the others. So these are really good. Now with these you can do die cut infill, where you have I don't know that I've got one out. Oh no, I can show you on this. So ignore the fact that I've got that on there. So you could go in and infill with the colours and then do those, and it wouldn't crack. I'm not going to crack this, but this has got the crystal glaze on, which I think is made to flex, and you can do the larger areas, where with these ones I believe a lot of people found that they found cracking. I myself didn't, but like I say, I didn't use great big areas, and because they've got a nice range of colours, if I change that round, you've got your neutrals, and then you've got some nice, I mean, green you should always have in drops, obviously, because of leaves and whatnot. You can then colour leaves in, and red, you've got to have them. You've got to have a nice strong colour. Now, you see, now I would have said that that was more lilac than blue, but that's just me. Tonic know far more about their products than I do. Now, that is how they come out, so I will put them there, and that is the colour chart. I must show you, I have now, oh goodness me, so I've got a lot of different makes of ink pads. Now, I was having trouble because I like to stick with one type of ink pad. I mainly use the Ultinew simply because they do a light, medium, dark and very dark, so you can't go wrong in a colour. But I found that I've got all sorts of different ones, and if I don't want to use the Ultinew, I want a specific colour that I haven't got in the Ultinew, I then have to go looking through. So what I've done is I have created a colour chart for all of my ink ranges. In the same chart, I've created a colour chart for all of my alcohol pens, which is the Spectrum Tricolours, my Ultinew, and then my other alcohol markers. I've done my Stampin' Up markers, they're just the standard ones. I've done all my embossing powders because I have probably 50 or 60 different colours of embossing powders because I use them a lot. And then I've got my colouring pencils, and then I've got my gel colouring, my gel pens, and I've got a lot of different colours, so I've put them all in the same pockets. And with my Distress Oxide, I've actually done I've done one side as it is and the other side with it actually water blended, like watercolor. Oh, and I got my watercolor as well, watercoloring with my Ultinew one. So I've got lots of different colors, but then I will be able to see, instead of looking at the top of a packet, which never actually shows you, you will be able to see which one matches what product. So you'd be surprised at what matches what. So I will be doing a colour chart for these, a proper one. I did think I sort of had it down. I had got the idea that I loved. No, I didn't even, I'm not sure I love it. But these are amazing. These are a dream to work with. There's more in there. You get 10 mil more, which doesn't sound a lot, but you take out 10 mil in a dollop, it's a lot. They're gorgeous. This is definitely the day to be showing you. Again, that was me, but look at how iridescent they are. Sorry, I've got to go down, otherwise it goes out of focus. They are just, well, they're dream drops. They are a dream to work with. They are amazing. This is the easiest to squeeze. You can you can form these perfectly round pearl drops without any experience whatsoever. If you are someone that's starting out and you are terrified of doing these, now we all know that you can do these in advance by putting them on a silicone, what do they call it? It's not a silicone pad, but it's a silicone sheet, that's what it is. And then once they're dried, you can just literally pick them off and glue them on. If you use any stick-its or you use dimensionals or any foam pad, the backing sheet you can also use. Don't throw those away, because if you're not confident going straight to card with one of these in case you mess it up, just literally put those on to one of the backing sheets, let them dry, and then you will literally be able to just wipe them off. They'll all come off, you can keep them and then stick them on with glue until you get more confident. So these are amazing. I love the colours, I absolutely love them. I'm hoping that they are going to expand this range a lot. I really do. So here are the differences in, you've got yeah, you've got the same sort of lids, but it's just a different style. But the bottle shape is, well, you can see it's clearly different. They're a dream to work with, as the name says, dream. Now here I did a fat dollop, and then I did put another one in and then marbleized it. I wasn't going for a curly whirly this time, I went for marbleized. Again, it's going to take a bit of practice. Sorry, it gets so blurred when you come up here, but it's supposed to autofocus. So, but I just want to show you. So you saw how it worked with that, holding that up. So you just give it a bit of a shake so that you're priming it up to get it down the nozzle so it doesn't spit. And I am putting barely any pressure on whatsoever, and you are just going to squeeze, and you don't get any trail when you pull it up. You don't get any trail whatsoever. So if you are a beginner and you would like to use these, I mean, the fact that they're iridescent is just, well, that's just even more amazing. These colours, I mean, I'm using gold. I keep using gold. I shouldn't keep using gold. But, I mean, they're just beautiful. All of these colours. I'm in love. I think that one is probably, I mean, nothing comes up. You don't get any trail. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And trust me, if anyone can get a trail flopping over, especially, and this is in all seriousness now, I'm not taking the mickey, if you have bad hands and you find it difficult to squeeze, you won't have a problem with these. And also, if you have shaky hands and you find that you have difficulties coming up, because some of these you have to come straight up, and if you have shaky hands, then you might find it difficult to not get the string. These ones, you don't get it. If I were to go back and get any one of these to begin with, now these will self-level as all the Nuvo drops do, but look, there is no string. You see, sometimes that will show it probably a bit more. Sometimes you'll see that they come to a point. Now most of these, I will say in all fairness, most of these will level. These are all dry now. They will level out and they do go round. But that, you see, oh no, it would help. They just come out so beautifully. No strings. If you're going to get any, go for those, unless you particularly want the vintage look, which will give you you can see there that they are now, they're matte. So yes, Nuvo do other drops. They do glow in the dark, which they really do glow in the dark. I don't know that they're any different, to be honest, to use, are they? Oh. Eek. Let's just see if that has clogged, or if it, yeah, no, that had clogged. That's me. So bang them down, people, and they are shown by the black, which obviously shows that in the black they glow, and they really do. Yeah, see, their profile stays very proud on those, but again they will settle. But these are amazing. Cheryl, I know you are particularly interested because you use the jewel drops. If you ever listen to anything I say, which I know you choose to to leave out 75% of what I say, but they are amazing. I wish they did more colours, I really do. Am I sorry I've got these? No, I am not, because I will find a use for those in a lot of my dye infill, where you cut out a dye and then you infill it, literally as it sounds. And like on butterflies, you can then make it look like it is old. Sometimes you don't want shiny everything. You don't want everything to be sparkling and shiny. So matte, I am not sorry I've got those. I am not sorry I have these either. I'm happy that I've got every single one of them. Given the choice of, if I was new to crafting and I didn't have a lot of money, but I was going to invest in one set, it would be those, simply because they have a lovely iridescent shimmer. You can form any size circle. You can infill dyes without cracking. You can fill in larger areas without cracking. They come out of the you do not have to put a lot of pressure on. You do not get a trail, and I can't think of any other reason. I can't think of any reason or downside to these, except for they haven't got enough colours. So Tonic, please send us more colours. I do use crystal glaze, which I have a pot or two. Now that's what I go over the top of any of my inking or my markers to give it a nice shine. Now I also do have, I have the glitter accents. They're the ones I use at Christmas. Mucky pup. I think they're actually quite hard to get out as well. What I was doing for a time, which you probably can't see it on, I've got a lot more. I've got black, red and white and clear over there, which I was marking the tops on, but that's how that actually looks. It's got a nice white sparkle. And then I also use their masking fluid, which when you want to go over, if you don't want to cut out masks, you just literally add that on, and then when you've done your stamping and you're happy that you've got everything done, you just rub that off with an eraser. But then I do also use another type of masking fluid. So, but I do find that the Tonic Nuvo range is really very good. I do like their products. They do tend to be well thought out. So yes, so I will say that they have not made any bad drops as far as I'm concerned. New beginners or beginner crafters, if you're going to buy one set, buy these. Honestly, now if you also like Nuvo drops and you use them, that's a no-brainer. That they are a no-brainer. And these as well. Like I say, I would buy these again because I think they feel a very necessary part of the market, that vintage and distressed is a big part of the market now, especially in mixed media. So you don't always want iridescent, sparkles or shine. Sometimes you do want a matte colour or something that isn't ultra glossy. So there is my review. I hope that that has helped anyone that was maybe looking at them. A lot of people weren't actually aware that there were new drops out. These did come out a little while ago, but I think these ones are not fairly newish, but to me they are fairly new on the market, I think. So yeah, that is my review. I would buy them all again. If I was beginner, go for those. So I hope this has been helpful. What else I was going to say is I shop on Craft and Create, and I recently bought the Gina K foil mates and the Stampin' foils. But while I was looking on there, I found this roll of foil. It's hot foil. You use it in your laminator. You can use it with a deco foil. You can use it with obviously toner. It only comes in gold, but it was here. The size was right here. Am I being stupid? Perhaps it was on the packet. It's something like 110 meters in there. But it wasn't that expensive. So if you do a lot of foiling, go and have a look. It's on Create and Craft. You can get these. These are also on Create and Craft, and they actually do either come individually or in the packs. If you are a member of Create and Craft, you get 10% off every order, and you can also then do it where you pay interest free over so much a month if you are going for a very pricey product. So yes, so thank you ever so much for tuning in to watch me ramble on. I have some really exciting products coming up. I'm so excited to what I have coming up. I also have the Mega Wreath Builder coming soon with the Memory Misty. I was feeling very smug that I would be able to use my Tim Holtz, because the largest template for the wreath builder is 7.5 by 7.5, which that is the square, but when you have to take it to an angle, it actually takes it into, I think it comes out to about 10.5 inches, which the Tim Holtz is, oh, the Tim Holtz is only, well, you can see the actual stamping area. So yes, it's very disappointed, but even if you could, there are ways of making it work. But I do a lot of albums that are 12 by 12, so I ventured into getting the Memory Misty, which I wasn't going to buy anything further Misty because of the whole politics of them taking everyone else to court to get them to stop selling their products because of copyright. I don't believe it that any one company should have the right to have the entire market, but that is politics, and we don't get into politics in crafting. We're supposed to be a happy community where everyone gets on with everyone and encourages others. That's all I'm going to say, but I did venture into it. I will say that Crafter's Companion they now do a 6x6. It's a stamp position. It's not a position at all. It is everyone has used a form of them where it's a plate and you push it down onto the stamp and then it picks up and then you can move it around. It's an actual stamp plate rather than a positioner. You don't put it into anything, you just put it over the card. Now that they do a 6x6 of that, so if you were to get a piece of paper and marked out certain points within that piece of paper, you would be able to create wreaths using that. So something worth thinking about if, again, you are a beginner crafter, you can't afford the stamping platforms. That is a way of looking at being able to do some of the stamp positioning and wreath building. I will say that if you're in America and you were looking at getting the Tim Holtz, do it now before they sell out, because they won't be available there afterwards because of the lawsuit. I don't know if that's happening over here or not. I don't believe so. So yes, I'm gonna leave my tutorial on a more happy note. I've tried out some parchment crafting. I've done a little wee bit. I love it. It's very therapeutic. So if anyone is interested, I know that Angela, who is a very dear friend of mine, is also interested and does have it. I can do if not many of you are interested, I can do a tutorial and then just make it available to those that are interested, or anyone can watch them just to see how it's done and just to listen to any new craft products or stories or anything. Anyway, I will say goodbye for now. Thank you ever so much for having a look at my tutorial and learning about the new Nuvo drops. Now, there probably are a lot of people out there that have reviewed these. When I looked, there wasn't a great deal of variety out there, but please do have a look and get lots of people's points of view. Never ever listen to just one person. Get as many people's points of view as you can, and you will come to a well-rounded decision if something is for you or not. Right, well, I would like to say thank you ever so much. It's been a pleasure crafting with you, or talking to you, because no crafting's been done, but I have some fantastic projects coming out. I will tell you some of them. I have this one item this one item that I can't tell you about, but it is the best thing I've ever done. Ever. I mean, a lot of people like my bag that opened up with the cards, and the very first album that I ever done, the very first tutorial on the album I done, I think has reached 35,000 views. This is way better than both of those combined, as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to love doing it, but I have some really amazing ideas coming up, things that you will be able to use for gift boxes that you wouldn't have even have thought of, and they're all really interesting projects. I will still keep showing you bits and pieces that I've bought. I will be showing you the cards that I received for my charity, but they tend to give you ideas of what you can then do, I feel. And I also want to let the people know that send them to me how proud I am and how grateful I am that they have sent them to me. But people's capacity to give is amazing. So the majority of my crafting coming up is actually going to be construction of 3D items. Yay! Right, so I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I hope to be back very shortly. Okay then, my lovely crafty friends. Big hugs. Bye bye for now. Bye.